What's up, y'all? It's me, your number one favorite pineapple raccoon, with that sexy voice. Oh. What do you mean? First off, hello everyone, Live Kim and Halmago. And Kim, what the hell you mean you can smell my stuff on fire from here? My computer is fine. Yeah, it's fine. So, welcome. Today we will have a very different, well, actually something is breaking, and that one thing is me, because I have not slept for a week. Obvious exaggeration, but yeah, I have not been doing well for myself lately. Today, this evening, depending on this morning, depending on where you are in the world, your time zone, that's the thing. We'll be doing something a little bit special. Rather than playing a game, which we all know that AKK are total experts in, we do everything by the book, and in the best possible optimal way. We are gonna be. I swear to God, that scared the shit out of me. I was not expecting it. I don't think it's actually synced. Like when I sing in sync with the music in my headphones, but I don't think it's the same on stream. I think on stream I'm delayed, but the music is live. But that's a good start. A little bit of don't. Dame dane, dame yo, dame nano yo. Man, I lost my place now. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. What were we doing? We were doing a stream. What were we streaming? Preparation for a Starfinder campaign. Alright, we are good to go. Alright, problem number one. I don't have chat available. Because, actually, you'll see because, why? You'll see because. I am actually gonna be streaming on across all my monitors, which means that if y'all spot some shady shit, I fully expect you to be like, "Yo, bro, the porn is showing." Like, you need to hide that shit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. We are already off to a real bad start. Oh, never mind. That's just me being an idiot. So we'll be planning the Starfinder session that I'll be having on Saturday. I completely not. And we'll be doing that in. I almost said Streamlabs. I don't know why I said Streamlabs. On Fantasy Grounds Unity. Why are we doing in Fantasy Grounds Unity? Because that's what I have a license for, and I'm the GM, so there. Now we're gonna do everything like from the start, kinda. And essentially just hope for the freaking best. Because it's gonna be a little bit chaos with this setup. It's gonna be a lot of chaos with this setup. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't you use Fantasy Grounds Classic? I did, and then I upgraded. I think like a year ago. Not a year ago, but half a year ago at least. Which Bevo was very happy about because he was like, "Oh, finally." I was only using this really shitty laptop to have Fantasy Grounds Classic, and now I can get rid of it. So, yeah. Alright. We are gonna try something, and I have absolutely no idea of whether or not it's gonna work, and y'all can't even tell me if it's gonna work, because I can't see the chat. So we're just gonna go for it, right? Now I'm really hoping that with that sound I just heard, everything is working as it's supposed to be. Wait, let's actually, can I check? I'm gonna try and check my own goddamn stream. And oh, it looks so pretty. Wait, I need to turn down the volume. There we go. Oh, it looks so pretty. Okay. So as you can see, I have 3 monitors up and running. I have, oh shit, I don't know which way to point. Fuck it. On one side, to the left of me, my right, your left, we have Fantasy Grounds. On the top, we have just a bunch of shit on one monitor, and in the top something corner, we have the last monitor. Yes, now good English. Now, if I want to highlight something in particular, I can actually go like doot and be like, hey, look at this shit, and I can switch in between the various ones and go back to the overview. I thought that was pretty cool. I tested out with Liebe and Kim. They were like, oh my god, amazing, or something. I don't know. I couldn't hear them over my own ego being like, fuck yeah. So rather than keep putting this off, let's just get into it. So as you can probably see when I do this, I have a campaign called AKK Starfinder, or AK Campaign Starfinder. That is missing some words. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that real quick. So now you're probably wondering, wow, Hecko, that seems real chaotic. Did you not prepare for tonight? And the answer is, I went to bed because I was real tired. I haven't slept for 2 days. There we go, module. That's an important thing. So we're gonna start. Normally you'd create a new campaign and then you would, set a campaign name, the rule set, and whether it should be on cloud or LAN. Cloud obviously means it's hosted in the cloud for Fantasy Grounds. LAN means everything is actually hosted directly from your computer, and you need to forward a few ports for that to work. As you can see, server list disappears when you click LAN because you are the server. Anyway, I've already done that, and we have the AK Campaign Starfinder module, where I've added a few extensions. I don't need that one. FG Tabber, which I love, but my players really are annoyed with because it takes up real estate. Let me just do this so you can actually see what the fuck I'm talking about. FG Tabber, which is a absolutely lovely extension, and Windows Saver X, which is kind of superfluous now with FG Tabber, but that doesn't matter. Essentially, what Windows Saver X does is you can have it save the location of all your windows on screen. And what FG Tabber does is it essentially allows you to store all your windows as they are on screen, but in tabs. Let me just start by asking, is the music too loud? Wow, yeah, let me go. Thanks. Appreciate that. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit. There we go. So we're gonna load the campaign, and then we pray that my computer doesn't break. I'm still praying. Oh my god, come on. Don't be this way. Ah, okay. Fantasy Grounds Unity recently updated their UI. Before, you could go to options, and you had something called sidebar, where you could select which sidebars should appear. Now they've just bundled everything, so you have it whether you ask for it or not. Now, for those of you who aren't totally aware of what's going on right now, we are gonna be prepping for the Starfinder campaign I will be hosting on Saturday. Sorry, not campaign, session. There's only one session. The session is based on an official Starfinder Society session called Pact World Warriors. Why am I doing this session? Well, for one thing, it is the very first Starfinder session I ever played, and I thought it was hella amazing. Secondly, the entire first part, which is like an obstacle course, and the entire second part, which is a battle and some extras, essentially teach you everything you need to know about how to play Starfinder. Like, use this check in these scenarios. Obviously, it's not going to be a complete list, but it goes like, oh, if you want to do like balancey stuff, you use acrobatics. If you want to be like strengthy stuff, you do athletics. If you want to hack the computer, use computers, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So I thought that was the perfect way to introduce Starfinder to new players, which is why I've actually used parts of the Pact World Warriors for my own campaigns, the intro sessions, to make sure that every player knew what they could do in, or at least had a rough idea of what they could do in Starfinder, and also so they got adjusted to how to use their character sheets in Fantasy Grounds Unity. So normally what I would do was I would take the PDF that includes the session. You can buy the PDFs on Paizo's website. Paizo are the ones that made Starfinder and Pathfinder, respectively. And I would transfer the information that I thought was relevant to the story. And you can just see that was Pact Worlds, not Pact World Warriors. Gonna close that down. Come on, boyo. You got this. There we go. Pact World Warriors by Jenny Jarzabski. I'm very sorry if I slaughtered your last name. It's Eastern European though, because this means sun up. Anyway, as you can see, it is relatively long and includes things such as maps, stat blocks, and so on and so forth. We're not going to go through all of that because that is really overkill. Instead, we're just going to put that off to the side. And I've done as the TB chefs do and cheated. Where are you? Sorry. Because I've already added the things that I thought would be relevant. So we don't have to spend time with me like going over to the PDF, copying, going over here, pasting. But if you needed to create a story element, essentially all you need to do is you go to story. This opens up. You can select a group. I have one called Pact World Warriors. And if you want to add a new story element, you simply click the plus. It will add new story, and you can add a title, which you can see appears alphabetically, which is why I have mine numbered. And then you can add whatever text that you want. These can be formatted so that you have normal text by pressing Control 1. Yeah, you can also right click, select paragraph types, and you have all of them here. But you can also hotkey them with Control 1 for regular text, Control 2 for header text, Control 3 for spoken text. I'm going to get back to that. 4 for lists, 5 for elements, like linked elements. So if I had another story and I pulled that in, when I click that, it opens or it links to something else. And I think the last thing is tables. We almost never use tables, so screw tables. Now, for the spoken ones, these are interesting because everything that's within the box, if I click the speech bubble icon, it's gonna appear in text. And the really cool thing is that if I press tab, oh, whoops. Okay, so it wasn't tab. Why are you being this way right now? Ah, god damn it. Fine, we'll just assign speaker. We'll right click assign speaker. There's a hotkey for it. I can't get it twice. But you can actually assign a speaker to it. So if I assign a speaker, when I click it again, it says that Hecko said ba da 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 da. This is a good way to get NPCs to have spoken lines, because you can write whatever. Okay, enough about that. Let's summarize what the story is gonna be. Essentially, the Starfinders have been invited to do a TV show on a planet called Eox, and Eox is like a planet of undead. They've been invited by a dude called Zoe, who is kind of like he's half host, half like important person in on Eox. So he's like the big media guy. Think of him as whoever owns the Walt Disney Corporation right now. But he has like, hey, we have this idea for a show we want to do called Pact World Warriors, where we pit you up against other people from around the Pact World system, and you need to try to get a better score than the opposing team by completing tasks. And those tasks are, let's see here. That is some dialogue. We're just gonna leave that alone. An obstacle course, a combat cooking extravaganza, and a taste test, which belongs to the combat cooking, and finally a kill count. So essentially, we have them running an obstacle course, we have them killing and cooking food, and finally we have them just mindlessly slaughtering things. So, you know, all the good stuff. Now, I'm not gonna do, there's actually supposed to be a fourth, which is a capture the flag event. I don't want to do a capture the flag event because that event alone takes as much time as the first three things combined. And I would like to finish the session in like 2 to 3 hours. So I've decided to cut that part out. So we have essentially the obstacle course, the combat cooking extravaganza, and the kill count that we need to take. We need to do stuff with. For that, we also have some maps. Do we not have some maps? We should have some maps. Maps, there we go. Essentially, we have that we need to fix the obstacle course. Dun dun. We have the jungle. That is for the cooking bonanza. And a crater for like the kill everything. Oh, that had some stuff in it. So we are gonna start with the obstacle course, and we are gonna check what the session says about it and find out what we may or may not want to change. Something we definitely want to change is the music, because it's the same two songs and it's fine for an opening, but right now it's driving me up the freaking wall. Do we just have a... Wait, there we go. Surprise me. Okay, that sounds very interesting. So for the obstacle course, we basically just have an explanation of the elevator. This being used to travel the PCs down. A escape that leads into the marshy area, containing quicksand, trap rock face, and some more stuff. We're gonna skip this part and go straight to the actual sections and see if there's anything there we want to change. Because as I recall, some of these are kind of boring because there's a lot of emphasis on physical characters. So if you're good at athletics and acrobatics, so if you're like strong and can climb up stuff, or you have good balance and can do flip-flops in the air. I don't know why I said flip-flops. That didn't make sense. You have a very large advantage against someone who's not so good at doing that. And that usually ends up with people getting stuck and not having fun. So I want to try to avoid that as best possible. Now, the players are going to start in this itty bitty room down here. I'm just going to expand this a bit more so we have some more real estate. And also, if at any point anyone has any question about anything, just shoot. I have found a way to have chat. Which is essentially what Kim ended up suggesting, where I'm like, I'm going to hate that. It's going to look so weird, but now we're doing it. So, we are in the escape room. Which stands 15 foot tall. Is constructed by steel, so they can't just break through. And a PC must succeed a DC 20 perception check. We're not going to do the bigger... no, because this is if they're... Our players are going to be level 1. So a DC 20 perception check, which is going to remove this. This is needless information that's going to confuse me. To locate the hidden door. The S here is the hidden door. A subsequent DC 16 engineering check is required to open the door from within to escape the room. I don't particularly like this because that means that if you don't realize that there is a hidden door and something you should look for, you're not going to roll perception. And even if you do roll perception, the average people are going to roll is relatively low. So we need to find another way for them to realize a door might be there. Because, as it says here, PCs that who remain in the escape room for more than 1 round must attempt a DC 15 Fortitude save or take 1d5 non-lethal fire damage due to sweltering temperatures. The reason for that is all the surrounding red stuff is lava. Why is that not cool? Well, our characters aren't going to have a lot of health at level 1. This is actually pretty bad. Even with a DC 15 Fortitude, it's still going to be more than half, like 50% chance that they will fail and take damage. And that will screw them up for the subsequent trials. And this is supposed to be fun. This is not supposed to be like, hey, I killed you. So we are actually going to remove that. And we are going to change that this is not lava. It is just water, normal water, that has a lot of red algae. So that is what we're gonna play it as instead. Searing heat radiates from the floor and wall, suggesting a scorching climate. That we can remove because it is no longer lava. Let's see. Right, okay. Cool. So right now we have it's Jello. Yeah, oh, that could actually be kind of fun. It's like just massive amounts of Jello. I'm just gonna move this a little bit more. So at this point, we have our characters being stuck in a room. They need to somehow realize that they need to do a perception check, or of course I'll just tell them, everyone, please do a perception check. And if they get DC 20 or above, they will notice the hidden door. And if they get 15 or above, they will notice this shaft. And that shaft leads to the outside. Medium or large must squeeze to enter, which essentially just means they move at half speed. Outside the building, a control panel can easily be manipulated to open the hidden door. So if someone manages to see this and like go out and hit the switch, the door will just straight up open. If they have any Suki, that is perfect because they are small, so they can get in. All other races that they can play are medium, so they would need to squeeze. Let's see. A treasure. A metal crate lodged in the ventilation shaft contains 2 basic med patches, so this is some ooey gooey stuff for them. Wow, okay. We are gonna leave that in. So, at this point, our players have escaped the room. And are now in the mires of misery. Deep lava channels. What did we call it? It was water with algae. Deep algae infested water channels surround the area above the water. So they reach this point and see 4 wooden planks. These 4 wooden planks afloat along the bog surface, offering a draw route through the morass. Now, the bog counts as difficult terrain. Oh no. A seemingly solid chunk of land leads into the bog, submerged in 4 feet of standing water. The bog counts as difficult terrain. So all this, the water stuff, is difficult terrain. Difficult terrain, for those that don't know, means that movement speed is halved. So if normally they would expend 5 foot of movement to go from one square to the next, they would instead here expend 10 feet of movement to go from one square to the next. So the requirement is doubled or speed is halved. That was chewing gum. Oh, Mekchu, welcome. Yeah, now you do actually get all the secrets. Because you've also played this. Trying to open. Alright. So. Bar counts as difficult terrain. Cool. Small or smaller must swim. That's fine. Requiring a successful DC 10 athletic checks to move through the squares. What that essentially just means is it's because it's more than 4 feet, a small or smaller cannot reach the bottom, so they cannot wade through it, they need to swim through it. And you use athletics to swim. The PCs can travel along the floating planks at full speed by succeeding a DC 15 acrobatics check to balance, or travel half speed to succeed a DC 10. Half speed basically just improves your balance. or rather moving at full speed on something that is unstable means that you have poor balance. That's why the DC is higher to maintain. The planks connect to a patch of solid ground beneath the rock wall. So here we're gonna pretend that there is actually dry land. I don't think we're gonna change anything about this. This is just fine. Because it lets them use... Actually, no. Here we go. There's a hazard. Northernmost 15 foot of water conceals a 15 foot square area of quicksand. So this contains quicksand. PCs approaching the quicksand at normal speed can attempt a DC 18 survival check to identify the hazard. So basically, if you come across these planks, you can try to identify the dangers. PCs enter the area except must succeed DC 10 athletics checks each round to tread water. That doesn't really make sense. Or DC 15 athletics check to move 5 feet. If a trapped PC fails this check by 5 or more, they sink below the surface and begin to drown. That's brutal. PC below the surface of the quicksand can swim back to the surface by succeeding in athletics checks. I think this is also completely fine. I'm a little bit concerned about this wording. I hope y'all can read that. Why is it that approaching it at normal speed can attempt a survival check, but it doesn't say anything about moving at half speed? Is it because you just know? We're gonna get back to this because this makes very little sense to me. Alright, to rescue a victim of quicksand, a PC must use a long weapon, so that is like a polearm or a sniper rifle. I would consider a sniper rifle as a long weapon. Rope or similar tool that enables them to reach the victim and succeed a DC 15 athletics or strength check to successfully pull the victim. This is, I was close to say this is like an illusion of choice, but it's not really because you can have higher athletics than strength, so that's fine. While the victim attempts a DC athletics strength to check on to hold on to. Alright, so this essentially says that a player that wants to help, a player that has fallen in and gets helped, both parties must roll an athletics or strength check to successfully help. I was about to go each other. The thing is, I think that's kind of weird, because you have a guy standing on top of planks that is pulling hard on someone else, and they're not rolling acrobatics. So I would instead give them the choice of athletics, acrobatics, or strength. My logic for this being, if you're just strong but have shit balance, you should technically be falling in. But if you have good balance and you can position yourself, I wrote athletics, acrobatics, and can position yourself well on an unstable surface, you should also be able to pull them up. But again, like I said, this part here, the first part, favors physical builds a lot. So is there anything else we can do here? We can also add if full checks the victim is pulled 5 feet closer to safety. I would say for every player that helps, reduce DC for stock player. Actually, for all checks by 2. And why do I do this? Because if everyone plays a weak character, this could potentially kill them or have them be stuck for half an hour, and that's just not fun. All right. Another thing that's not really mentioned here is passing. If a player is already on a plank and another player starts their turn here, would they be able to pass? We could just say straight up no, or we could say that both parties needs to succeed in an acrobatics check to not fall in. Which is exactly what we're gonna do. If a player passes another player, both must roll a acrobatics check. For the moving player, the DC is based on their speed. So essentially this rule up here. For the standing player, the DC is 10. I think that's fair. What do you have here? Mikchu, now that we're talking about strong, did you add some alternatives to opening the first door? That was the biggest challenge for the Mort group. Well, the biggest challenge for the Mort group was that, oh god, you guys were split up, right? Did anyone actually climb through the thing? Because if you climb through the thing, you can just push a switch and it opens. I think I added a strength check to my campaign. That is not part of the original, so we're just gonna leave that out, and as soon as you hit the switch, it opens. So that you don't need to do strength checks for that. Okay. Wall of Champions. So now we passed the bog on the balancing beams, and we are at the cliff face. Sheer rock face towers over the bog, jagged outcroppings, blah 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 blah. 30-foot vertical plane of stone culminates in a metal slide leading east towards area 84. That is this. PC can climb the wall by succeeding a DC 15 athletics check. Once at the top of the wall, PC's entered. Okay, so this is absolutely boring. This is essentially just keep rolling until you either fall in, get stuck, or finally somehow succeed in getting up. And again, this heavily favors athletic, strong builds, which again, kind of boring in my opinion. So, first off, we're gonna highlight this so I can easily find it. I tend to highlight my my athletics, my checks, my skill checks, so I don't have to like, oh, where was it? But right, the PC can climb the wall by exceeding a DC 15 athletics check. That's fine, but like I mentioned, you can get stuck a lot. And also, if you roll too low, you can fall down and have to start over. But not only do you have to start over, you land in the bog. So you also need to do like this entire shit of having to get up again. Oh, that's actually a thing. PCs enter the area, blah, blah, blah. See, to rescue victims, so here it says you are unable to essentially get out unless someone helps you out. Why? If you're walking along the beams and your foot slips, you're not gonna somehow jump like 10 feet. You're just gonna like drop straight in. Why can't you just pull yourself up? All right. It is possible for a player that slipped into the water to help themselves up by a DC 15 athletics. So why do I think that's important? Well, it's one thing if you have, let's just say we were playing 4 players, you have someone go out, they slip, they fall in the water, I'm drowning, and you have another player that's already on here help them up. What happens if you're on the wall, all 3 players have reached the top, you're halfway, and God forbid you crit fail on your athletics check? Well, you lose your grip and you fall. And where do you fall? You fall down into the bog water. So now essentially you have no way of getting up unless someone that's already on top crawls down the cliffside again to help you up. And even then it's only like, shit, maybe. So I would rule that for one thing, it is entirely possible for a player to pull themselves up, so you don't have to be dependent on someone else. Obviously it's going to be more difficult. Alternatively, if people are standing on the cliffside, they can throw out a rope and you fell in. They can throw out a rope, you can grab the rope, they can help pull you up from there. Using essentially, where's that rule? Here, right? I would rule that as possible. There are 2 P's in slipped. Okay. Now that we have finished that outrage, shit. Actually, since I'm not using one screen, I'm just gonna do this real quick and temporarily. There we go. Yeah, Inception. Ted also almost drowned. Yeah, he did. Let's see. I missed a lot of chat because this phone solution is not working for me. Let's see. Kim in my group was trying to send a drone through the vent. You did, because it had like a little thing Adams thingy. Yes. For those who don't know, both Kim and Kim Parnish and Mekshu are actually players in my campaign. They both have a campaign they play together, and Mekshu is also part of a second Starfinder campaign, which happens in the same universe, or in a parallel universe, but within the same organization. So I reused some stuff. Okay. Wall of Champions. PCs can climb the wall but 16 ADC 15 athletics check. That's fine. That is completely standard within the rules. That stays. However, let's do this. PCs can roll perception. Oh, we had a DC. What should DC be? Let's do DC 18, 17. Perception. To discover camouflaged cables. Cables running down the rock face. These can be used to assist climbing the wall of champions. Now, we are just gonna cheat a little bit because I have, and I think I have some NPC. Yes, we are just gonna check the athletics climb skill because I'm pretty sure that if you fail a check by 4 or less, you make no progress. If you fail by 5 or more, you fall. I am decently sure that if you are using a rope, you cannot fall. You need at least 2 hands to climb. You need at least 2 hands to climb. This, for Comparnish, explains why Arm had so much difficulty with this. His character has a prosthetic hand. When climbing someone, you are flat-footed. That doesn't matter. Here we go. An unknotted cable or rope with wall to brace against, knotted or knotted rope without a wall to brace against. So it lowers the DC by 5. Cool. That was what we wanted to know. By reducing the DC of climbing to a DC 10 athletic check. Obviously, this will also benefit the characters that are good at athletics, but this is essentially just to prevent those that are not good, like that are weaker or don't have ranks in athletics, to still be able to keep up. Because the absolute shittiest thing for a player is that you have some sort of physical disadvantage that you can't help to do anything about except just keep rolling and hoping for the best, that essentially leaves you stuck and not able to play the rest. Once on top of the wall, yeah, I'm not gonna let them just do this. Okay, so now we have, they found the cables. Oh, that's not spelled right. Cables running down the rock face. They can be used for assist, which means they can climb up easier. So now they're up. It also prevents falling. No, actually, yeah, it does. Except on a nat 1. Now, purist will say, dude, bro, you can't just like nat 1 on a skill check. It doesn't matter. You can't critically fail. And to that I say, screw you, it's my game. I can do whatever the heck I want. And if I want a nat 1 to still be a crit fail, I can let it be a crit fail. Or I can be a success, but with great difficulty. Whatever the heck I want, that's what I do. And in this case, rather than on a DC that's 5 or lower, I want them to actually get up and move on with the challenge. So I'm essentially giving them free, for free points. Fucking nice. Oh shit, I just realized I haven't added a, oh, would you look at that? There's no alert box. There is no alert box. There we go. Now there's an alert box. Things I didn't think would be important. All right. All right. So now they're on top. In the original Starfinder Society session, the aim of the game is have any one player reach the end. So even if like the rest of the team gets stuck here, as long as they have one player that can reach through all of this, they will complete the task. I think that's boring, because I want my players to have like to work together to solve this, right? So what I will do, which I've also done in my 2 campaigns, is I will add 2 points where they simply cannot continue unless they're all standing there together. That is one of them. So all 4 players need to be in this area. And we're gonna add another one over here. This will be slightly larger. Actually, no, screw it. It won't. It will just cover this area. No, that's gonna end up being weird. Let's remove that. Oh wait, that removes all of them. I don't want to remove all of them. I want to remove this one. There we go. 15. That's a bit better. So now all the players need to be within a square to be able to continue, which means hopefully means that if one player is slightly stuck down here, the other 3 will assist them to get up, because they have no way of progressing otherwise. And how do we do that? We do that by, instead of just having there be a slide, like once at the top of the wall, PCs enter the slide by stepping onto the automated hatch. Fuck that shit. We're gonna do a thing called hatch. Just gonna copy this. Put that there. Slide. Oh no, I said hatch, but now it's called slide. At the top of the rock face, wall of champions, wall. Oh god, what did I write? Add cowbells. I'm not adding cowbells, guys. I don't have cowbells to add. Is a closed, is a gate, is a shutter, is a shutter connected to a terminal. The terminal is old and requires a 4-digit password to access. The terminal can be hacked by succeeding a DC 20 computers. That is pretty standard hacking. Computer check. That could actually be funny. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Yes, more cowbell. Doesn't matter what it's called because we're going to be deleting it by the end of this anyway. And more cowbell. We're going to add that in the campaign. See, if you know we're just not gonna do it, well, fuck it. That's too bad, Nice. You should just stay quiet. Should just stay quiet. Fuck this. So, careful with my search history. I don't use it for prawn. So I don't mind. Only thing is I have Kimmy folders. I know what that sounds like. That's not what it is. But whenever I go like, oh, that could be fun to like surprise Kimmy with, like a gift or food, or well, especially food. I can say that because she's not watching, because she's gonna be playing on Saturday. But especially food. I store it. I save it in my Kimmy folder. Okay, so. Terminal can be hacked by succeeding a DC 20 computer check. We're just gonna bold that. A DC. Ooh. Now we're gonna open up a character again just to check something. Not life science. Physical science. Don't we have... Yes, geology. Okay. So here we are gonna implement a check. A DC 15 perception. Or physical... Oh, not off. Or physical science check. To discover that the top of the wall has essentially what I want them to do is to be able to examine this area up top, find a type of stone that doesn't fit like the rest of this cliff, by either being like slightly different color or if you succeed in physical science, you know, because you have geology, is a different sort of rock, and that is gonna be like shaped like numbers. Has on top of the wall are 4 stones that don't seem to belong. Examining them further will reveal they are shaped like numbers. Oh, we can't just do numbers because that would be... No, numbers in different numerical systems. I think that's fine. These make up the password leet. Actually, we're just going to do numbers. There. So now, even if they don't have anyone who is experienced with computers, they have a way of finding the password. Cool. Once the shutter has opened, PCs enter the slide by stepping onto the automated hatch. Using the slide causes no movement and dumps PC onto the grass here. Okay, now the question becomes, fine. You've added something where they all need to be together, but what does that do? Like, what prevents anyone from just doing a computer check and hacking this immediately? Well, the terminal is old and has no power. Power is supplied when all player characters are in the designated square. So this way we are forcing the players to all be there in order to enable the computer for it to be hacked, so they can't do that in advance. When the terminal, not PC, is booted, they see it requires a 4-digit password to access. There we go. Now we've essentially finished the first half of the game. Not the game. Jesus Christ. The first third of the obstacle course. A lot of stuff went wrong in that sentence. So now they step on a pressure plate located on the top of the wall. Triggers a suspend. On the first piece of your child to the chute. This is the stat block, and as you can see, that is not impressive at all. Oh, because this is this is a stat block for the trap. This is not a stat block for the slime. Okay, that's fine. Slime deposited by a trap is a gelatinous droplet. We don't have this. This creature follows the PCs down the chute, likely creating additional difficulty in the following encounter area. Give enemy off target condition. I'm pretty sure I didn't have this in my campaigns. Did I? I think I replaced this by having something down here instead. So that is a gelatinous droplet. This is not from the game. I have this from somewhere else. I have to admit, I shamelessly just took it. I googled for something and I found it. I found this. So I will make sure to credit the author before we actually start playing. Gelatinous droplet sheet. These are their stats. So there is a little bit of combat. Can any of my players, Kim or Michu, remind me like what the hell did I do here? I'm pretty sure that I thought that this, I still think that this is kind of like off, but I mean it's fine for a first encounter. I'm pretty sure I had something down here. A scarecrow. I had a scarecrow down here. Why did I do that? A zombie? There was a zombie or something. Scarecrow. That's how it was. Yes, I created a scarecrow here that it just stood and was like and followed the last person who moved with its eyes. And the idea was to like try to freak the players out and prompt them to attack it. But also to like try to make them realize that where to use scarecrows. You use scarecrows in places where you grow food that you don't want animals to, like other animals to eat. And if they checked out a sign, you you would see that it said like food for Matilda or something, my darling Matilda. And another thing is also that you could use the scarecrow to actually pass part of the next challenge. We pulled its hat down. I think you did. And then I think Anne, who played Brian like Dyke alignment, threw it onto this thing, and it's essentially triggered 2 fields. So that was pretty cool. So. I'm considering just leaving the original because I remember I had Matilda be here. And the reason I did that was because y'all weren't gonna be playing the cook-off, which some of you ended up doing anyway. Right? The scarecrow was a fun, weird thing. You know what? We're bringing back the scarecrow. Screw all this. Let's see. Tranquil Meadow. This actually applies to the disco thing and not the actual meadow. So let's make a new section called Disco Dance Floor. And not trap. Overlooking a pool of algae infested water. Okay, so Tranquil Meadow. We are gonna have a. Oh no, that was not what I wanted. An image. Undead. Wow. Is that it? We're just gonna load a few more, not assets, modules. Pact. For some reasons, they changed to have for GMs and players, but almost all content is in players. So now the GM needs to load twice as much, which is like really fucked up. And Alien Archives. We're gonna need all of those. Oh, computer, please don't crash. See, we just got a shit ton more. So while we're waiting, I have a question for everyone who's in chat. If you play some sort of pen and paper or tabletop RPG, what was your either most awesome critical success story? Like what happened when you rolled a nat 20? What was like the coolest thing that ever happened when you rolled a nat 20? Versus what was the absolute most messed up thing that happened when you rolled a nat 1? I'm curious. That is horrific. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a marooned undead. Right freaking there. So now if I click this, the image will open. Getting Candy's number on a nat 20. Woo! Ted, you player. For those who don't know the context, Mekchu plays a character called Ted in one of my campaigns. He is he's like this endearing, naive, bumbling idiot type character, essentially, who is extremely curious about anything that he doesn't know, which is pretty much everything. And at one point, he ended up in a brothel. Don't ask. Where he went to get a companion, which he like completely innocently believed was just someone you hang out with, because that's what you do with companions. And he ended up getting her number and talking about a potential business venture of hers, which he now actively spends time in the campaign trying to further. It's so cool. But yeah, he was like, "Can we exchange contact information?" And she's like, "Well, it's not really a thing that we do." And then he rolls a nat 20, and she's like, "But I trust you, Ted. You seem so nice." Okay. Tranquil Meadow. When a PC slides down the what is it? They slide down. A hatch. When a PC slides down the hatch and reach the bottom, they are face to face with an undead creature. Obviously oh no, it says read only, which means I cannot change the name. Unidentified image. It's close enough. Actually, we're gonna cheat just a little bit, because what we're gonna do is we are gonna do this, and then we say, was it marooned? And we are gonna drag you up into monsters. Is that gonna work? That was definitely a mistake. Let's pull you back into. Yeah, that was definitely a mistake. Go back into Alien Archive. Then we're gonna copy you. Because the copy we can edit. Grunting Undead. And we can also give it a proper name so it's easier to find. Scarecrow. Undead Scarecrow. There we go. Undead Scarecrow. And then we're gonna put you in monsters. And then we will pull you out to here. Welcome back, Naris. There we go. Now, you may wonder, like, oh, why is this like a problem? Because you've played D&D 5th edition, and you're like, oh, I can just move around. Well, threats or threatening is a little bit different in Starfinder compared to D&D 5th edition. In D&D 5th edition, you have a threatened area, which is the area that you can reach around yourself, around your character. And you don't trigger attacks of opportunity until you leave the area. So essentially, you can move in the first square, and you have these 8 squares of like free running around space. And you don't trigger an attack of opportunity until you try to leave that area. So like go further away from where it is, or where they can reach you. In Starfinder, they don't talk about threatened areas, they talk about threatened squares. So moving from one square to the next is enough to trigger an attack of opportunity. And that, of course, goes unless you do something called a guarded step, where you expend your entire movement and take a step that doesn't trigger attacks of opportunity. Cool. With an undead creature, a life model decoy that looks like an undead. This is actually a thing also from my campaign. It wasn't a... I know I'm revealing stuff to my players, but it wasn't an actual undead. It was just a decoy. Life model decoy. Where do I have that from? Marvel. Who uses life model decoys? I don't remember his name. Nick Fury. Nick Fury has a ton of life model decoys. That's how he ends up getting killed so often and then somehow coming back to life. The undead creature is actually a scarecrow protecting the bluegrass. A feed used for certain livestock. Alien livestock, such as Uzorgs. More on that later. Protecting bluegrass. A feed used for certain, such as, there we go. DC, I'm not going to give that away, DC 20 life science on the Scarecrow will reveal that it is a LMD. DC 10 life science or survival on the grass reveals that it is used for livestock, particularly semi-aquatic races, species such as Oozorgs. The creature will follow the last player that moves with their eyes and growl at them, but never moving. Dread game? What dread game? Is Kim doing a dread game? Oh wait, we actually talked about that. Fuck, I already forgot. That was the Klasmeyor thing, right? The Jenga thing. Eight. No more than 8 characters. Players. No more than 8 players. The unknown creature is actually a Scarecrow. Let's do it like this instead. The next creature is actually a Scarecrow. DC 15 Perception reveals a patch of grass, a small patch of grass in the corner that seems to be pressed flat. Examining the area, leads to finding a sign in Vesk that says to my darling Matilda. Not to, but feed for my darling Matilda. We're gonna do this in a chat thingy, and let's check something really cool out. Just gonna do this. So I have feed for my darling Matilda. I'm gonna assign a speaker called Sign. We're not gonna assign a speaker, that's just fucking weird. So feed for my darling Matilda. And now the cool thing about Fantasy Grounds is that you can assign different languages from this drop down. So if I put it in Vesk and I click this thing, hopefully... Oh, shit, that did not work. Oh, okay, I need to actually type it out. So what it does, it essentially like translate stuff for you. So this will be visible to the players, this text, like with these symbols. But if there is a player character, for instance, Meloarian, who obviously understands Vesk, for that player, they will also get the translation. And the best thing is it checks automatically. The only thing that is required for this to work is that the language under languages is written the exact same way as it is in the dropdown. Otherwise, it's gonna fail, and it is case sensitive. I'm ugly. Wait, Kim, was this you? I think Kim wrote this. Kim Parnage. So it doesn't make sense to have here. We're just gonna do like this. Boom. On that creature holding a trident. That's kind of like a pitchfork, right? I heard my name while chasing a goddamn rabbit around. Kim Parnage has become Elmer Fudd. Shh. Be way quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Okay. Okay. So now we actually have some fun stuff here. That rabbit has to go. The Scarecrow can be uprooted with a DC 17 strength. Do I want to do straight up strength? Strength or athletics? Check. If the player somehow manages to create leverage, the DC falls by 2. So this is a thing I do in my games. I don't know if this is standard, but I will allow like real world physics to play a role. So if you go like, I try to pull this thing up, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's a DC 17 strength or athletics check. But if you go, I'm gonna judo throw it by like using my hip as a pivot point. Shit, okay, son. That just got a little bit easier. Of course, you have to argue why your character, for whatever reason, knows judo. But if you can do that, like I'm a Solarian, which is essentially a monk. Of course, I know martial arts. Okay, cool. So, on to the next part. So only Mekchu mentioned like either a really awesome thing that happened on a DC 20 or like a really fucked up thing that happened on not a DC, sorry, on a natural 20 and a fucked up thing on a natural 1. Does anyone else have any like stories where they go like, like on this situation I roll a nat 1 and I mean I was trying to throw a grenade and it slipped out of my hands and exploded in my face. Obviously in a pen and paper, not in real life. That would be messed up. All right, glowing squares. So now we are here. A traps to blast anyone across the area with different types of energy. When a creature tries to cross, activate a trip and 1d4 of the squares. What? Okay. First off, we're not gonna do 1d4. I want there to be a chance like here where it's actually turned off. I've cheated a little bit and actually implemented that already. So I have here a table I can roll from, and if I roll a 9 or a 10, it will show as off. If it, I'm gonna click here, 9, electrogrid equal off, and if I roll whatever else, 8, electrogrid equal green. So that essentially gives me what color the player has rolled on. Landed on, sorry. I then use that for my result. No, sorry, not my result, my trap. And I have the color codes here. So let's say they roll green, I roll green. That was not what I wanted to do here. And that is then how much damage it does depending on their reflex save. There is a bit of coding I could do here to optimize this, but we're not going to deal with that right now. We might get back to it. Disco dance floor. Alright, so we are done with this entire part. So that is essentially half. We are done with half now. We have this bottom part. Gonna go to the next one. Lava hop. That is not gonna be lava hop. That is instead going to be I don't know. Water bounce. Shallow lava pool. Instead of shallow lava, we're going to change that to deep water. We're going to change the rest of the lavas to fit afterwards. Here is essentially my issue. For one thing, check the damage. That can one shot kill you if you're unlucky. We're just going to take a normal character. I think this is one of the stronger ones. I can't see if that's an 8 or a 9. Let's say it's a 9. So they have 22. Essentially, in 2 turns in the lava, they could be dead, and that's it. It's over for them. And seriously, where's the fun in that? Like I of course I get this is supposed to be difficult, but I don't want to kill off the characters already. That's gonna come later. Right here is just like learn how to play the game. So rather than shallow lava, it's gonna be deep water. They can still do the athletics checks for jumping that is required. I am going to add an option here where there are cables running along the paths that do not have what's it called? Pillars, so that players can crawl across using simply like also athletics, but not that high a DC. It's going to be slower, but safer. So alternatively, they can try to crawl across the ropes, the cables, on a DC 10 athletics, moving at half speed. A cable can only support one medium or two small characters. Otherwise, what is that thing you can when you're rock climbing or mountain climbing, you have that metal thing like a giant nail that you can like hammer in. What is that called? What is that called? Let's just check. We have some mountain climbing gear. Like this is a carabiner. This is not what I'm looking for. It's something with P, I think. Oh. Nail? Nail polish? What? No, that's not what I'm... mountain climbing, fastening nail. A piton, or piton. All right. So essentially, if more than one character, the piton will fall out. Will loosen enough for the cable to drop entirely, making it useless. So that is essentially if two players try to crawl on the same thing, because it's only half speed. That's a very real possibility. It's simply just gonna fall out of the cliffside, and they're gonna fall into the water. Yeah, I bet Ted would. This is no longer really a hazard. Falls into the water. They can try to succeed a DC 5 athletics check to pull himself back onto an unoccupied platform. I think that is fair. Because I don't... When I played this the first time, my character, who's otherwise really good at athletics, fell in, and I went from full life to like 3 HP from taking the lava damage, the 3d6 or 3d8. And I was playing. Whoops, there we go. Isip, and you can see he only has 16. So I I practically got one-shotted by just like screwing up a single check, and that is just not fun. That is like in the other spectrum of this is bullshit, as in you just have to keep rolling until you get until you hit DC, and then finally you can advance. To here, you mess up once, and then oh yeah, consequences are you died. Your play character is dead. Okay, can I do something? No, because you're now in the lava, like submerged in the lava. You continuously you're dead. That is not fun. But yeah, make sure it's actually because I was thinking of what happened with Ted that I've decided to add the cables or the wires. There's an L missing. There we go. Acceleration track. So now we add these. 2 moving walkways run around the rocky. Run along the rocky ground toward a plexiglass tunnel. That should be a what? A way. Yeah, I thought this was not very fun because it's essentially, oh, you got to cross. You just why even have this area then, right? Because hey, you just step on and then your movement speed is now tripled or doubled with no repercussions whatsoever. Other than, oh, I use the fast one, I get blasted back, and then force punch. Again, you know, it can one-shot you. So that is so broken. And again, not really fun. So what I do instead is that they're running away from this area. And you have a switch in the middle that you need to hit to reverse the way that the conveyor belts are running. So that means that these tracks are running in this direct, like from right to left. And if you hit the switch or pull the lever, they kind of like grind to a halt and then start moving in the opposite way with the same speed. I think that's more fun because then I can put a lever down here or lever down here, and people can either be like, fuck this, I'm just gonna walk alongside. Entirely possible strategy. Or they can be like, okay, I'm gonna pull the lever and see what happens, like to help my teammates. And then there's a trap in front of the lever that does not this much damage, but like half, maybe a quarter, and just push them back. So this is not really, a damage obstacle as much as that it is an annoyance that you got messed up. So away from instead of towards. So important thing to note, these here do not move. So if you're still, they're just gonna like drop you off like here or here. And that is to not have players end up back in the water. I don't want that. Yes, it is on Saturday. I think we're starting at 8. The PCs see 2 tracks moving away. Why am I writing that when I already have that up here? PCs can attempt to run against the conveyors, the belts, Oh, conveyor. I need to write it full. The conveyor belts. At a the top belt moves them at half speed. $10 feet for every 5 foot moved. While the bottom one is slower. 15 feet for every 10 foot moved. A lever is situated on the ground between the two belts. And pulling it reverses the direction the belts are moving in, keeping the speed. A pressure limit built into the ground. Actually, no, we're gonna keep it on the no. A pressure plate built into the ground in front of the lever, as well in the same square above and below. The two belts. What I mean by this is if I have the lever, let's say here, here. If I have the lever here, then I have traps here, here, and here. Why do I have traps in the 3 places? Essentially, it's because actually I'm gonna have just traps here, I think, because I want to slightly annoy people or players who are like, oh, this is easy. I'm just gonna not be on the conveyor belt. Like I'm not gonna do the challenge. I'm gonna choose the challenge. They're gonna hit that thing and be pushed back. I think I'm gonna do it all 3 places, but instead of, I think this one, the original one, yeah, it resets after a minute. I'm just not gonna have them reset. So when you step on one, that's it. You can step on the plate again and nothing will happen. You're still on pittance? Eh? Oh, shit. My bad. My bad. So this is what I was talking about. If I had a lever here, I'm gonna add a trap here, here, and here. That does a very small amount of damage, just enough to make a player wary, and otherwise push them 20 foot back. And my idea here is just that by making them wary, they're not gonna try and step on it again, even though it's completely safe. Hey, Batea. Which unleashes a force blast that pushes a creature backward and does minimal damage. A DC can detect and disable a trap from anywhere in this area. So we are going to reduce the challenge rating to half, 0.5. Hybrid perception is going to be dropped down to 19. Engineering is going to be 16. Force blast. Force blast is just always going to hit, but it will only do 1d6. Reset. Never. Push back 20 foot. That is our new force punch. Good. Now, the players will collect here, which will open this door. Laser tunnel. So this is no longer a laser tunnel, because I remember the original laser tunnel being also completely broken. Like, trust me when I say, as a first-time player, if you have just one experienced player in the group, the original session is still really fun, because you have a player that can kind of guide you, and or if you have a really good GM that is who's not an asshole, essentially, because they will guide you, like, try this, and this will not work, and then you have a more limited amount of options to choose from. However, if you have none of those things, like either your GM is an asshole, or all of you are inexperienced, have never tried this before, you're screwed. You will die. I was fortunate enough to have both a very nice GM when I was playing this, and also I was playing in a group of 3 other players who were really experienced Starfinder players and didn't mind me joining them. At that point I had never played it before. I was actually signed up to a different session, but they accidentally double booked and they bumped me. So I ended up playing Starfinder, and that's how the legend began. Okay, so laser tunnel is not a laser tunnel. This is now a plexiglass barn. Right. Plexiglass barn. Trap is gone. And instead, actually all of this is also gone. Automatic tracks end at a transparent tunnel that opens when all PCs are in the designated area. I know, I am nice until they learn how to play the game, and then I'm not so nice. No, I'm kidding. I'm always nice. I want my players to experience the story, but if my players do dumb shit, that's on them. Like, then I'm not gonna hold back. Like, I want to jump into the lava. Okay. Roll acrobatics. See if you can do a backflip before you die. The players can now enter a large dome room with a floor of polish, blah, 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 provides easy spring. Only one thing stands in their way. Matilda. A DC, it's a common livestock animal. DC 10. Life science. Let's see. Is there any check we haven't actually really used that we can implement somewhere? Because disguise, that's not gonna happen. Life science, medicine. Medicine is a thing. Alright, cool, let's do that. A DC 10 life science will reveal the animal in their way to be an Uzok. DC 15. No, that's a bit overkill. DC 12. Fuck it, 15. Perception check will reveal the tag on Matilda's ear flap saying Matilda. Matilda is hella hungry, which can be revealed through a no. Matilda is pacing slightly back and forth. Seeming aggressive. A DC 15 sense motive. Yeah, we're using a sense motive now, guys. Woo. Will reveal that she's just hangry. If the players plucked brought some of the bluegrass, they can attempt to feed it to her. I think survival lets you tame animal, handle an animal. So 10 plus. This is the dumbest way of writing half I've seen in my life. 1 minus I have. What makes this even dumber is like the operations make no sense. So essentially what this is saying is that half of the CR of the animal subtracted from 1 plus 10. Like, who writes mathematical operations this way? It's a fucking disgrace. So that makes it a... Oh no, where are we? They will succeed on a survival on a DC 11. So, oh shit, DC 10. Survival check. Boom. Actually, I will lower it because they have food. DC 8. If they don't... No, fuck it. I'll keep it at 10. I'm just gonna make it harder if they don't. I don't want things to be too easy either. If they don't, then it essentially it's a penalty if they don't. They can try to calm her. A DC 12 survival check. Yeah. If the players make no attempt to calm or feed her, she will attack when approached. Good thing Happy never got to play this. Happy? Oh, is that your alt character that we didn't really get to... that you played instead of... that you could have played instead of Ted? Yeah. After the initial rush, she will, however, succumb to hunger and pass out. So sad. With Matilda out of the way, it's a straight shot to the finishing line. Woo! And then we have some dialogue. We're not gonna change the dialogue. But these are essentially the hosts for the obstacle course, or well, actually in general for the entire Pact World Warriors games. So they'll be there throughout. I am just gonna drop an Uzoric here for myself, so I can remember. She will attack when approached. Initiative will be rolled, but Matilda will always go first. Fuck yeah. Don't mess with my cow. I found this. Ah, damn it. Yeah. Alright. Screw me, I guess. That was items, images. There we go. Uzorg. I found this image, which I think is pretty cool. Again, this is from an artist, Tessa Storm. Does it say Jackson? Jacques. I can't find it anymore. Fortunately, I noted this down before. But I thought this was a really good representation of an amphibious livestock. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to remove you because I don't need the stat block, I need the image. There we go. Cool, we're actually done with this part. Yay! I will show something that I'm not gonna do now, but I will do off camera because it takes hours. But here, obviously I have a grid, but you can also add line of sight, which I tend to do because I don't want a character here to know what is coming next. So what I can do is essentially I can add an area. Oh. It kind of works a lot better if you remember to frickin' there. You can add walls where if a player character is actually inside that wall. Okay, I'm not gonna do that now. I need to drag them on a combat tracker first. Oh, they might actually be on the. Yeah. If I have them in there and we go into like play mode, enable line of sight. We need to reset line of sight. Not fog of war. Oh no, that might actually have been it. So essentially, the player, when they're in here, can only see the part that is lit up, right? Player preview. They can only see the part that is lit up because they are within the wall, and of course, whatever markings I have. But I can essentially add a bunch of walls and other things. If I, for instance, just move the player now, if I move them outside of the designated area that I set that this is like a walled room, if I move them out, like I can't because it's walled off, right? However, I can do things like I can add, just gonna remove this. I can add doors. And I'm not actually going to do it now because, like I said, it is very time consuming. Oh, there we go. I can add doors, which during play can be either, oh, I didn't do it properly. Can be either opened or closed. So if I just, can I move you out? There we go. If they were within an area, then I could either open or close the door. If the door is open, they can see through it. If the door is closed, obviously they cannot. And I have other such things such as windows. Windows are always closed, but you can see through them. Fake walls. These are like for magical illusions. And terrain. And terrain is essentially a green thing like so. I'm gonna put that within a wall just so you can see the effect of it, like so. That is actually the wall. Not the wall, the door from before. It's closed, so when I open it, I can see through it. This is my... what the hell did I call it? Terrain. So from the outside, or from one side, I can see the contents of the terrain, but I can't see past it. I cannot see past it until I move into it, then I can see past it. But if I move out of it, the same thing happens, right? So whatever is beyond the terrain is invisible to me. And a good way to implement this in this area, for instance, would be to have the top of the cliff be terrain, or like the side of the cliff be terrain, because then you can't really see the top, but you can see that there is a cliff side, and then when you get to the cliff side, you can actually see the rest. The only problem that gives is then when you're on top, all of a sudden this will disappear. So it's a bit of a balancing act how to do it. And that is one of the reasons that it takes so long, because you keep like retrying and debugging and changing anchors and other stuff. So for me, being not very experienced at this, having to do that for a map such as this one, where I don't want people to be able to see through like the blue light, for instance, making it here would take me probably something like 3 hours. Because I'm not really that good at it, like 2 to 3 hours. I think for someone experienced, maybe half an hour. Okay, we are 100% satisfied, or I am at the very least, with how this looks right now, story-wise. So let's actually go to the beginning. That is the preface. How the adventure begins. They're going to Eox, yay, the dead planet. They're gonna talk with Zoe, who's a media mogul and therefore always talks as if he's in a commercial. Have you heard, dear Starfinder, that this cream takes 50 years away from your age because it kills you? And the dialogue, the intro dialogue is actually completely fine. I know that you can't see this right now, but if you watch, if you follow on Saturday when we're actually going to play it, we're going to go through all of this. It's essentially just introducing the characters to, here's what we're going to do. Do you have any questions? And if they do have any questions, like potential answers. And there's also something I really hate, which is hard to see, but there's a narrator, one character, and then another character, and you need to switch voices, or you need to switch between those three. You don't have to switch voices, but if you ever watch any of my streams, you know that I do that a lot. Not super talented at it, but I do try my best to entertain. So, of course, we're gonna have Zoe be the "but wait, there's more" voice. Radajam, which is like a lizard thing. I don't know if he's a Vesk. I don't know what this is, but he's also gonna have a voice, and so on and so forth. Getting started. This is fine. Potential questions: what is Pact World Warriors? What are the challenges? Bonus knowledge. This is actually something that I've added. Story, meet the contestants. So that is actually introducing the opposing team. I'm not going to show them. You'll have to watch the stream if you want to see. Then we have the obstacle course. We just did all this. So that is good and done. And now we have combat cooking. So we are going to lock this in. Remove. Also going to remove that. We are going to take our images. Go to maps. Remove the search query. And that one is done. Jungle. That might also seem familiar to Kim and Mick Chu. Oh, that fucking diagonal though. There we go. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. After the break, blah blah blah. Welcome to the comic cooking extravaganza. Da 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 da. That is just introduction to what it is. We're gonna leave that. Creatures. Okay, so we're gonna have some creatures. Very moo. Okay, so essentially the way that combat cooking works is that the players are going to be dropped on this map on a location that I'm just not going to tell them where. And they need to find 3 animals that they will turn into ingredients. Now, the thing is, when you kill an animal, you need to take time to butcher it. If you don't take time to butcher it, there's a chance that the meat will go rancid, because apparently that just happens within a minute or two. But I'm not going to change that mechanic because it has impact on the points that the players will earn at the end. So I'm actually just going to leave this as is. I can also see that there's a 20% chance each round that the opposing team's actions will startle one of the non-aggressive creatures. I'm not really sure that is a actual thing. Is it an actual thing? Let's just check if that's an actual thing. So if I go startle, okay, it is. So that is from the original. Every round there's a 20% chance the opposing team's actions manage to startle one of the currently non-aggressive into attacking the PCs. So what that essentially means is that while the PCs are fighting one creature, there is a slight chance, a 1 in 5 chance that a second creature will attack them. And another 1 in, after that 1 in 5 chance that a third creature will attack them. You might be, because I know for damn sure that Kim does know what the fuck Hunter x Hunter is. But yeah, it is actually pretty similar to like one of the challenge story arcs. I forgot what the arc is called. But yeah. So I'm gonna leave this as is. I'm gonna leave this as is. Eat small treasure. And then we have the cooking phase. They're gonna get recipes. Roll a 1 to determine the order. And here is like this part here is where harvesting all of a sudden has an impact, because if you took a while to harvest or you didn't do it very well, your score is going to get lower if like the one that you killed first and therefore maybe harvested last is then also last in this order of like preparation. But I think this is a very fun thing, because as we know, one of the players is going to be Alpaca. Alpaca has at the very least been a professional chef, and he does a lot of cooking in his spare time. I think he will find this interesting, especially because after, like, you have chances to sabotage the opposing team by either messing with their hub, like their oven and gas and whatever. What's it called? A cooking range. It's called cooking range here. Or messing with their ingredients, or confusing them, or straight up just like taking one of your kitchen knives and throwing it at them. And of course, you can also defend against them trying to do the same thing. And after all that is said and done, we're not going to change anything here, because I think this is completely fine as is. It's not like super easy, but it's not super hard either. And this does not have that much of a mechanical influence on anything. Obviously, if you roll poorly, against like defense. Maybe your meat is going to be undercooked, or you're going to mistake sugar for salt, or vice versa, and it's going to have an impact on your food. However, as you can see here, one of them, Quell, who's basically a ghoul, an undead ghoul, has no sense of taste or smell, so he can't taste that the food is bad. And Lithia is a ghost, so she can't consume food. So essentially, they can't judge the food made by the player. So instead, they need to like argue. So basically, one of the PCs need to be like, oh, we made a this and this with a reduction of fruit wine that we found in various. So it's actually a lot more here you can see, rather than anything that you've done during the cooking having any kind of influence for anything, you need to do either bluff, diplomacy, intimidate, or profession cook to like talk your way out of it. And I think that's amazing. This is the only place in the entire thing where you can talk your way out of stuff. So I'm also gonna leave this entirely as is. And you can see here an example of what the other team does. Rafaela presents Variety 5's Uzork and Verimus sausage with Akata caviar. And if you play on a higher level, it's braised dromosaurid ribs. It's because the monsters change. With Tashtari and Necropede tempura. Like, what the hell? So I'm looking forward to what the players will think up for the food. I think that's gonna be like hella cool. And if they do it well, they're definitely getting a bonus. So the last thing, obviously here I will also need to do like some map management. I'm not gonna do that now. Again, time consuming, but the only thing here I would probably do is these kind of provide cover, like large tree stumps and plants. So I would add them as terrain so that you cannot actually see past them. They're too tall and take up too much space. Reminds me a bit of Delicious in Dungeon. Oh, that's the one. Is that the one where a party of, I think, like 5, one of them is a guy whose sister gets transformed into like a hippogriff or something, and they need to like deep dive into the dungeon, but it's hard to carry food with you. So what they essentially do is they kill like monsters on the way and they prepare them as food. And of course, the main guy whose sister is or one of the main characters whose sister has been transformed is like a giant glutton. So they, oh, new monsters. Let's try and kill them and see what they taste like. Oh, it is that one? Yeah. Okay, last one is kill count. And why do I say last one even though I have 4 maps? And ignore this. Well, that is because, like I mentioned in the beginning, this entire thing, this capture the flag thing, oh, so time consuming. Kim knows, Mekchu actually also knows, because we did that. We did this as a learn how to do combat in the Mort campaign. And honestly, it's just a giant freaking pain in the ass. And like I said, it takes as much time as the other 3 challenges combined. So we're gonna end it on, oh, not Ghost Ship, you freaking idiot, on Crater. What happens in Crater is very, very simple. You have to fight waves upon waves of undead, and that is it. You start like up here, I think, at the cave entrance. They come from this corner, and you have a chance of like either standing your ground and just like firing, or you can actually travel south. There's a cache down here with a shit ton of like weapons and stuff that you can use to pop a bit more. Yeah, you re-kill them. Normally, after this point, after you completed the treasure, you gotten the rewards, there's a little bit of development, and then there is a break time where the opposing team will try to sabotage you. And the results of that sabotage and the defense against that sabotage has an impact on capture the flag. Since we're not doing capture the flag, we need to find a way to end the Pact World Warriors show here. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna leave that a surprise. So if you want to see how it ends, you're gonna have to tune in on Saturday. That's just how it is. We start recording at 8 o'clock CET or CEST. 8 o'clock local time, Copenhagen. And yeah, that's gonna be fun. So what else? I might just wing it. I don't know. No, I'm actually gonna write something down for this, but I'm not gonna do it on stream because I also want you guys to have something to look forward to. Now, the last thing to do here is actually to create the characters, but as you can see, I've kind of cheated and I have some of the characters already. That is not going to stop us though, because part of this stream is showing you how Fantasy Grounds works. So we're going to create one of the missing characters at level 1. So we are just gonna I'm just gonna open some folders first. Definitely not that one. Here we go. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of pre-gens of different levels. We're playing level 1 characters, and we currently have, as far as I remember, Isef, which is the operative, Eltronus, that is the Solarian, Keskodai, I think was Mystic, Mularian was, oh shit, I don't know what Mularian was, Soldier. So let's do the Technomancer, because I'm pretty sure that I heard both Kimmy and Casper, like Running Hamster, I think his name was, saying, I want to play Technomancer. So let's create a Technomancer. This is what our Technomancer looks like. So pre-gens come like this. They have all your stat blocks here, your defense, offense, statistics, what gear you have on you, languages you speak, focus, and so on. Special abilities, including your magic, your spells, and descriptions of your gear. This is essentially because you only have one printout, and if you don't know like, oh, azimuth laser pistol, okay, cool. How do I actually use that? There's like a small description of, oh, okay, like I can fire it 20 times, I can do this and that, cool. So we're gonna create this character. So I'm gonna go back into my character selection, and I will add a new character and add Raya, that was her name. And I'm just gonna close all this because we don't need that right now. I like to pull up most of my stuff that I'm gonna need and remove anything unnecessary. We're gonna need class, feat. Oh, why do you do this? Class, feat, race, and spells. These are the 4 that we're gonna need. So there is a minor bug in Fantasy Grounds where if you do these 3 in the wrong order, you're going to end up with wrong calculations and therefore wrong information. And I don't remember what the order is. So now we're just going to plop things in and we'll correct it afterwards. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Now, we know, or I know at least, that based on her antenna, she's a Lashunta. It probably says somewhere. Oh, here we go. Female Damaya Lashunta. That is actually important. Xenoseeker Technomancer. So this provides all the information that we need. The gender. Actually, gender has no mechanical influence. But the race. Actually, this is the race. This is the sub-race. Her background. And her class. And obviously her class level. So we will add her race, the Maya Lashunta. We're just going to do the base because this is from the very first version. Now we don't need this anymore. We're going to add her theme. I missed the theme, which was Xenoseeker. And what does the theme do, you might ask? Well, it grants you specific knowledge and a few additional abilities and ability mod. The ability mod is useless because this is a point-based system, so you're always going to have like one superfluous point, and that usually comes from this. But you have a theme knowledge where here, for instance, to identify a rare creature using life science, you can reduce the DC by 5. And life science is a class skill for you. Though if it is already a class skill from the class you take, you gain a +1 bonus instead. So we're going to just hang on to this, because that's going to be relevant. And we're going to add the class. She was a Technomancer. That added a bunch of stuff. And let's see if that added a life science. It did. It says right here, life science. So because life science is a class skill, she doesn't gain it as a class skill. Instead, she gains a +1 bonus. So we're going to go into our skills. We're going to go into our life science and expand the bonus list. And then we're going to add one bonus modifier. I don't remember what all of these abbreviations are for. I'm pretty sure this is race. I don't know what that is. Luck, insight, something mod. Does it say here? Oh, morale, luck, insight, skill enhancement. Let's put one in enhancement. There we go. I'm just gonna take a gum. There we go. So now we have our most important information available here. There are a few more things though. When we added her race, you can see we added Lashunta Magic, Dimorphic, and Limited Telepathy. Limited Telepathy is listed as a sense, so we don't need to do anything there. However, Dimorphic, we also don't need to do anything. That was this thing here, the fact that she was a Damaya. So Dimorphic just means that Lashuntas are split into 2 sub-races. We're not going to touch that. However, Lashunta Magic is relevant. Student is relevant. Lashuntas love to learn, and they receive a +2 racial bonus to any 2 skills of their choice. Obviously, we don't have to choose this because it's a pre-gen, so that choice has been made for us, so we can ignore that one. We need to add these, though. I'm not going to do that right now. There is an order to things, but it's good to have open so you don't forget. Now, we're going to look at her statistics first and try to match these on our character sheet. Normally, you would use a point-by system where you have 10 points you can attribute to any score that you want. So for instance, you could add 3 points to strength, 2 points to dexterity, and then 5 points to wisdom. So you can split it however you want, 10 points. For every even number, you get a plus bonus. So if this had been 12, you get a +1. 14 is a +2. Oh, and sorry, there we go, a +2. 16 is +3, and so on. For every uneven number below 10, you get a penalty. So 9 is where you get a -1. 7, you get a -2. 5, -3, and again, so on. Now, you can see that some of these will also affect other stats, same as it does in D&D. For instance, your constitution will influence how many stamina points you have. So if I start moving this up, you can see that stamina points are also increasing and decreasing. For dexterity, it influences your AC, like how hard you are to hit, and also your initiative. Enough about that. We are now going to add the stats as they are listed on her character sheet. So that is 14, 16 in intelligence, and 13 in charisma. Oh, that's already at 13. Perfect. We got her stat, we got her speed, we got her senses. This is auto-calculated, this is auto-calculated, and this is auto-calculated. So we don't need to do anything else. Only thing we need to keep in mind is when we start to mess with the stats, sometimes here the resolve points, which is a mechanic used, I think, exclusively in Starfinder, they don't really update. So we are just manually gonna set it to be the same as the max. Next, we are gonna verify that the HP and the health points and stamina points match 9 and 5. And we can see here it says 9 and 5 and 4 resolve points, so we are good to go on that point. And now we're gonna add her skills. Now everything that the character gets as a bonus is already included in this, so we don't actually need to take into account the thing about what was called something student. I was just called student. It's already included, so we're just gonna add the things exactly as they are. Oh shit! 3 fire alarms? Damn, son. They're fortunately listed alphabetically on. Oh, you didn't see that. They're listed alphabetically here, so it's relatively easy for me to add. She has 1 rank in computers. Whoop. And I can see that she has a +9, which probably means that she used her student thing here. Diplomacy is +2. But there's no rank in it. So that is also just a bonus. Engineering is a rank. Oh, it actually just doesn't, it's not listed properly. Oh, that's great. Life science is 10. So that's where her second student thing went. Engineering was 7, that's correct. Life science 10. Mysticism 4. Physical science 7. Piloting 6. And that's pretty much it. We've spent all her rank points. Now, in case some of you are wondering, like, why when you added a single point in some skills, it goes up by 1, but when you add a single rank to other skills, it goes up by 4. And that is because when you add ranks to your class skills, you get a one-time bonus of +3. And that is why that characters such as operatives are so OP because they have almost everything as class skills, and they get a shit ton of rank points. So at level 1, they're as good as most other classes are at level 4 skill wise. I think the same also applies to envoys. All right. Can you make a giant in character in this game? Like all in physical, and basically all you did was walk around grunting at people because you don't know how to speak. Well, theoretically, you can. You could essentially make a character that is boosted in strength, like has a score of 18, and their intelligence are just hella low. And then you can focus your rank points on things that deal with strength and dexterity. So, obviously, the things that you're bad at, intelligence in that case, would have negative modifiers. So you could have like a -3 if you try to roll engineering. So it is entirely possible, though not necessarily advised. Good. So the next thing on our list, we've added this, we've added this. We are now gonna add her. We're gonna add her feats. And that is a very simple drag and drop. Her feat was weapon focus. And it's just dropping that in, and that's it. Because I like to know what it is I'm focusing on, I will write that it's small arms. Because you can select a weapon type, and I don't want to have to remember all of this. So I will write, I took weapon focus, and I'm focusing on small arms. Next, we're going to add some languages. All characters start by knowing common. All characters also start by knowing the language of their race and or planet. So that is Castrovillian. All right, Mekchu, take care, man. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday. It's gonna be fun. You can laugh to yourself like ha 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 ha. We did that way better, or oh shit, never thought of that. Might should have tried that. She knows Celestial. She knows Elven. She knows Triaxian, and that is it. So about languages, like I said, common is a free language. Your race language is a free language. Your planetary language is a free language. And then you get bonuses based on your intelligence modifier. So because she has +3, she got 3 languages in addition to her common and Castrovillian. And you can choose any 3 languages. Cool. We're gonna add some gear. I was just on her goddamn inventory. Gear, there we go. So we can close you, we can close you, we can not close you. We're gonna do items now. And she has all the combat gear that you see down here. So the combat gear and other gear. I don't know why a pistol is not considered combat gear, but I don't know. It's not my system. So a serum of healing, drag and drop. Like normally when you create a character, you will have 1,000 credits, right? It doesn't matter what race or what class or whatever you take, all of them get 1,000 credits. And from that 1,000 credits, you purchase whatever you feel your character will need. And that includes your weaponry, your armor, your everyday stuff, adventuring stuff, whatever. A thing that I really enjoy about Starfinder, as opposed to D&D 5th edition, if you follow the rules, is stuff like food, no one gives a shit. If you have a week's worth of rations in your inventory, GM will just say, you know what, you have food. You will always have food. You don't need to replenish. You don't need to like count. You have food. Done. All right. So where were we? Serum healing, sticky bomb. Oh, sticky bomb. Green one. And as you can see, all I'm doing is just drag and dropping. So this is like super easy. If I wanted to see how much it costs, I could just click on the information icon, or the piezo icon actually is. I can see the level, I can see the category, the price, bulk, everything I need to know. Important thing about levels is characters can only use items that are their level +1 and lower. So because they're all level 1 characters, they can use level 2 and lower items. She's wearing a second skin, that is a piece of armor that goes underneath your clothes. And when I added this, she got a +1 to EAC and +2 to KAC. This is energy armor class and kinetic armor class. Why 2 armor classes, you ask? Well, that is simply because there are 2 weapon types. There are the things that physically hit you, like for instance a axe or actual physical bullets. Those are kinetic because they transfer kinetic energy to you. So kinetic armor class is what you roll against. And then you have, laser weapons or energy weapons, heat, cold, electricity, and so on. That goes against your EAC. And when I added her armor, it automatically updated her armor classes. I can see the calculation here. Base plus whatever, plus her dexterity, plus whatever I get from armor, and if she had a shield, she would also get that bonus. So really, to use or to prepare in Gravity Finder in Fantasy Grounds, it's essentially just a lot of drag and dropping. Where did we come from? Second skin. Azimuth laser pistol. This is her small arm weapon. She has a battery that goes with that, and I can say that the battery is inside the weapon. That way, it will be indented and right below. You can use this for weapons, like batteries in weapons or bullets in weapons, but you also use that for items in your backpack, if you have a backpack. She has a tactical, but oh, that was dumb. A baton. Tactical. She has an engineering toolkit. That is not it. That is a standard toolkit. There we go, where you just write engineering. And essentially, the way that this works is that if you have the proper tools to do specific checks, you don't get penalties of those checks. For instance, it's kind of hard to do an engineering toolkit, or an engineering check and not have tools, right? Like, how are you going to take apart part of machinery if you don't have any tools to do it with? Don't say with a hammer, because a hammer counts as a tool. Everyday clothing. That goes on top of her second skin. A hygiene kit to keep clean. A personal comm unit. And a cred stick with 1 credit. That's it. Now, another really cool thing about Fantasy Grounds is that once you add stuff like weapons to your inventory, they will automatically be transferred to your actions as actions you can take. And as you can see, because a azimuth laser pistol has 20 shots available, it will mark 20 shots. When you roll to hit, whether you actually hit or miss, you expend a shot, and then it's marked. And if you hit, you roll the damage. You just double click, and it will roll the damage for you. Obviously, if I had been targeting an opponent, it would have been up. The check would have been made against their AC, and the damage would have been applied to their HP. So it's super automated, which I really, really love. And players have a lot of like player authority. They can be like, I want to target this creature. Okay, you do that yourself. I, as a GM, don't need to like change the markings or the targets for the players. I do that because sometimes my players will forget. And I don't think most of my players have a lot of like screen real estate, so they don't have things like combat tracker open where it says who you're targeting. But I think that's it. All right, so now we have her weapons. We have spells. Lashuntas gain spells. And they're not Technomancer spells, they are Lashunta spells. So we're creating a new section specifically for that. Whoops. Because they don't function the way that normal spells do, and they shouldn't count against their spells per day. Let me just double check something real quick. Boop, boop. So they have days and psychokinetic hand, and at level 1 they have a detect thoughts. There we go. What else does she have? Well, she has, since she is a Technomancer, she also has some Technomancer spells. So we're going to add those as well. And just like with everything else, and what I just did, it's just basic drag and drop. So we have Dancing Lights. I'm pretty sure that's a cantrip or an at-will spell. Doesn't actually say. I'm decently sure that's a at-will spell. So a level 0 spell. Energy Ray. I'm slightly annoyed that it doesn't actually say the spell level. You know what? We're simply gonna do this instead. We're gonna sort these by class. So we had Dancing Lights. That was a level 0. Detect Magic is also a cantrip in this game, or a at-will spell, which is completely OP. Which is why I have a house rule that says you can use them, I think it's once every 10 minutes. And then it needs to cool down. Because otherwise, technically, you just say, I keep firing off Detect Magic constantly. And that's kind of like game breaking. Energy Ray also, and at-will. Shit. Greece, not the country, is a level 1. Magic Missile is also a level 1. And Mending. Is Mending an at-will? I think it is. It is. At-will. Now, Technomancers don't need to prepare, so we can go straight into combat mode. And actions. And then actually whenever... oh. Absolute bastard. Okay, they apparently do need to prepare. Regardless, and when you want to cast something, you simply just click the die, and if you're targeting someone, it will roll against whatever they need to roll against, which I think is hella cool. And with that, we're done with creating Raya. Obviously, I'm gonna add a portrait of her. I'm not gonna waste time doing photo editing right now. Well, see, the thing is, Starfinder doesn't have components. Spells just work. There's no somatic, there's no verbal, there's no material. You do it. So in complete silence, without actually moving, you just detect magic. The only limits there are basically duration and range. That's it. And that is why I think all the detect spells are super OP in Starfinder, because they're at will, so you can use them an infinite amount of times each day. There are no components to worry about, so you can do them in complete silence without moving and without having to pay a material cost. And the only thing that's like bad is they're all cone shaped, which is essentially just a player saying, I spin 360. So I have house rule that you cannot just abuse this. Speaking of house rules, yeah, I agree. Having something that you needed to do would be far more balanced. Like, you could argue that a GM could simply say that, you know, this is so far in the future that almost everything is either, you know, magical or at very least hybrid. So a mix of technological and magical. So if you keep using it, you just get like complete sensory overload, and then you can't use it for the rest of the day. Too bad. But that totally depends on the GM. Let's see here. So, like I said, I have some house rules, and I have absolutely no idea of where the hell it is. Oh, my cheat sheet. That is not my latest cheat sheet. Yeah, I completely agree. As soon as it's like the GM that needs to go fixing issues in the game, then it's the game that has a problem. I just need to find a file on my computer. I have no clue where the heck it is. And I don't want you to see too much of the shit I have. That was not it. Oh. Yeah, here we go. See, and this is why I didn't want to show too much of what I have, because Kim is watching, and other people who play in my campaigns might watch the VOD of this, and I have stuff that could reveal things about the game, which is way premature. I don't want to do that right now. Okay, so like I mentioned, I have some house rules. This is like my cheat sheet for new players, and I have this in the game, like in Fantasy Grounds, so that any player at any time can open it. You have no glasses on, and you're on your phone. Well, regardless, I have my cheat sheet open, and this is just like, what can I do in a round in case people forget. You have free actions, swift actions, move actions, standard actions, reactions. And I have page references to, if you need to know more, go to this page. And then I have all my sexy house rules. That's why I'm half naked, because they're hot. By the way, both of these drawings are drawn by my fantastically wonderful, amazingly talented girlfriend, Kimichi Art. If you don't already follow her on Instagram, Facebook, whatever's on Boo, he's all naked. Go follow her. She does amazing stuff. She's not as active as she used to be because she's fallen in love with Starfinder, and now she draws mainly stuff from our campaign. So that is a lot of fun. But you can see I have a shit ton of, okay, I don't have a shit ton, but I have like 10 or so house rules, because I think some of the official rules are just dumb. So I changed them. And that includes a recent addition with detect at will spells have a 10-minute cooldown. Look, I even added like new and updated. I'm a podcast. Damn, son. I'm sorry, my voice doesn't really do that justice. Okay. In any case, let's what? Let's go back to here. I don't really have anything else to show, because the last things that needs are like a few tweaks on the maps and the NPCs. I don't have any NPCs I need to create. The enemies that are gonna get blasted are all listed in. Oh god, I closed that. No wonder. Are all listed with stat blocks in the campaign. What's it called? Not campaign. I keep calling it campaign. In the session notes for Pact World Warriors, and I'm just going to use those. So this is actually going to be everything for me. Let's just quickly go back here. Ah, that's so sweet. Show a picture of a cat. There will be no puss on this channel. Apologies. So you've seen approximately what you can do on in Fantasy Grounds, and I don't think I got any questions between. I don't think I missed anything at the release. So I think I hope at least this explained like some of the options that you have in Fantasy Grounds, and kind of like how Starfinder could work. Of course, it's gonna make a lot more sense when we actually play the session on Saturday. Currently, we have 2 confirmed players, who are Alpaca High Lord and Sneaky Hamster. We might get a Pingu to join us. Maybe, we don't really know. And we also might get Kimmy to join. Again, not entirely sure. But since the spots haven't been taken yet, if you are interested, dear viewer, in playing on the session on Saturday, just poke at me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Actually, not Twitter. I don't check Twitter. But Instagram and Facebook. And tell me that you want to join, and we'll figure something out. Thank you, Liebe, for wishing me. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, I had a yesterday anniversary at my work. I've been working there for 10 years now. I'm the one. I was about to say I'm the oldest one there, I'm not chronologically the oldest, but I've worked there the longest. So yeah, 10 years. Woo! That's technically older than the company. Woo! Because it changed name on the way. On Thursday, I will be streaming again something related to Starfinder, or to the session on Saturday. I'll be streaming how I at very least plan to set up Streamlabs. So in case that other people who are like, oh, I really want to like stream, I don't know, D&D or whatever other TTRPGs, but I don't really know how to set stuff up for it. I'm gonna give it my best effort to make something. It's not gonna be great, but I hope that people can use it at the very least as a sort of, oh, that was one way of doing it. Cool. Bruh. I know, let me go. And on that bombshell, I'm gonna bid you all farewell. I hope you, at the very least, thought it was somewhat interesting and that you're looking forward to the stream on Saturday. So, I was about to say good night, good fight. But no, good night. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you again on Thursday, or at the very least on Saturday, when we have players who need to go through all this. And hopefully you will also see the efforts that are going to be put in off stream. So all the maps that I'm going to be updating and stuff like that. So thank you for following along, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.